Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Holowitz, and in this Excel tutorial I am going to try to pull together a bunch of the things we've learned about Excel to this point and just try to give you some insights on how we can use it to do some more interesting things with Excel. And to introduce that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to Tony's Place. And Tony's Place is a fictitious pizza place that serves all kinds of stuff. And it's a franchise, or not a franchise, but it has branches, it has managers, it has employees galore. And in this particular example, I'm going to suggest to you that you are the manager of Tony's Place and you want to get a promotion from manager to regional manager. So one of the vice presidents is going to come in and interview you and talk to you about a specific spreadsheet that has Tony's Place data for a particular week. Now, you don't know what that data is going to be about, or let me rephrase that, you don't know what the conversation is going to be about regarding that data, but your goal here is just to make the data look a little bit nicer so that when you sit down with the vice president, well, you'll be able to look at this and it's a much cleaner view of the overall data. So in order to show you how that works, I'm going to illustrate a couple things. First and foremost, let's say we just want to make this look a little bit better. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here where it says beer, and I'm going to click on beer and hold, and I'm going to drag down, and I'm going to go up, and I'm going to make this bold. I'm going to make the type style light gray. But then I'm going to come up here and give it a background color that sort of stands out a bit. Let's make it like this color. There we go. So now it stands out a little bit better. Actually, I'm going to make the font color, let's make it white so it really stands out. Now, one of the things I'm observing is cheesecake is a little crowded in there. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to double click on this column C and D, the line between it, to make this information as wide as the widest item in this column. Next, I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to make these rows a little bit wider. There we go. And again, I selected all the columns and then I grabbed any line from any one of these columns and resized them. Okay, so I made it a little bit wider. I'm going to take the days of the week, I'm going to center them, and I'm going to give them some colors. So let me go in and give it a background color, let's say in this particular case red, and then we'll make the font style something that hopefully will show up, maybe like orange, and let's make it bold as well. Okay? And maybe we'll make them a little bit bigger. There we go. So it expanded to hold that. So now we've made the days a little bit bigger, but now we've got all these numbers to deal with. So let me show you what we can do here. I'm going to go in and I'm going to change the way these numbers look. Now, you'll notice the numbers have different amounts of decimal points or places. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click on 335. I'm going to drag over and down to select all this information. I'm now going to go up on my toolbar, and I want you to notice, and I said toolbar, I should have said ribbon, we have increased decimal and decreased decimal. And what I'm going to do is first I'm going to increase the decimal just once. Now for some reason, sometimes when I do this, by increasing it first and then decreasing it, what you're going to see is I'm going to round these numbers down so it takes out all the decimal points, just like that. Okay? Now I'm going to center them. So now what I've done is I've rounded off the numbers to make this much easier on the eye. Okay? Maybe I can make these a little bit bigger just so they stand out a little bit more. Let me do this. There we go. Okay, so I've made the numbers a little bit bigger. But I want to illustrate something if I could. What I'm going to illustrate is when you have a number, like this number right here, 96, I'm going to take this number and I'm going to put in 0.53. So it's $96.53. And I'm going to hit enter. And what I want to draw your attention to is in this particular cell, what I've done is I have rounded it up to $97 just for visual effect. But I want you to observe when I click on that cell and look up here to what's called the formula bar, the actual amount in that cell is not 97, it's 96.53. The rounding up is just for visual effect. But if we do anything else, like adding cells together, you will see that these numbers are not taken from the rounded up number, it's taken from the actual number hiding behind the scenes. So why is that relevant? Well, let me show you what we're going to do next. I'm going to come down here in this cell, and obviously we want to see some totals. So in these totals, I'm going to click in this cell, and I'm going to go up, and I'm going to click right up here on the item that's called Auto Sum. And I'm going to click on that, and what you're going to see is it put a bunch of dancing little ants going around all the numbers. Now there's two ways I can get this function to work. I can either click on auto sum a second time, and what it's going to do, it's going to total all those numbers together, or I can just hit enter, which I'm going to do right now on my keyboard. And by hitting enter, it took all these numbers and added them together and put the sum right there. Next, I'm going to click in this cell, and I'm going to drag all the way over to the right, and I'm going to go up and I'm going to click on auto sum again. And look what it did is it automatically filled in all those numbers. So I didn't have to go one by one. Let me make these numbers a little bit bigger. Let's go up and make them, let's say 16. Let's do 18. I'm going to center them all. Let's again take all these numbers. Let's give them a color. We'll give them a background color to start with. Let's do green for money. And let's do another color here for, let's say, I don't know, just something that's going to show up good. Let's see, that will show up. So now I've taken that spreadsheet that we started with and I've made it a different look and feel. I'm noticing that I like these look a little small, so I want to make these a little bit bigger. I'm just going to come here, click on 14. I'm going to resize this so it fits everything. And now we have Tony's place looking just a little bit better. So simple formatting and simple working with a spreadsheet is a way you can take this information and make it look better. Simple, complex information. That's what I've done in this first part of Tony's place. I've just made it look a little bit better. Now, when I choose colors and fonts and styles, I haven't spent a lot of time in these tutorials talking about colors, fonts, and styles because I'm assuming you know a lot of that from either my Microsoft Word tutorials or from previous knowledge. So I didn't spend a lot of time on that. But in this particular case, we've made it easy to work with the information and answer questions because it's much clearer, it's much more apparent than all that information with the previous decimal points. So this is the first part of Tony's place. I'm going to do another tutorial that expounds on this or expands, I should say, and we will get into more things related to Tony's place. But to start with, this isn't bad. We're getting going. My name is Tony Holowitz. Have a great day. Thank you.